In the following tutorial, we're going to talk about some of the fundamentals about Actionscript. Now, the first thing that you always want to do is have a good resource. You can always go to this website that I have here, this is a digital media website, and use it as a resource for code, as well as get some good books. Learning Actionscript, this blue book here, is one of my favorite books. Really well written and great information there for sure. So I'd definitely check it out. Now, there are lots of other tutorial websites and even online guides that you should check out as well when you have time. Now, to understand how Actionscript works, we first have to look at what it is. Now, I should go back up and let's just look at the name real quick. It says Actionscript. It used to be that when this language first started, this scripting language started, you would write a script that would run an action. Now, Flash has matured from a scripting language to an actual programming language. And as it's become a programming language, it's matured about its standardizations and all the different things that you can do with it. Now, the most languages like this are created as what's called an object-oriented language. And there's a lot of things that are really cool about it that we're not going to talk about right now, but it is very important to understand the basics of how an object-oriented language works. So I'm going to come down to here, and basically you have these nested structures here. The first structure is called a class, and to be an object-oriented programming language, you typically have a lot of classes that are already built for you, and you're able to use that class because it's already pre-built. You can define your own, but we're not going to really talk about those. Now, a good example, a good analogy of how this works is looking at the human race. If you look at the human race, that would be a class. And then we would drill down inside the class and you would have objects. Each of us would be an object of the human race, so we'd all be objects of that class. Now, as we are objects, we would all inherit different characteristics and properties and methods that objects of the human race would get, such as methods are things that we do. For example, I'm talking. That's an action that I'm doing. Now, I could also walk or play golf or watch TV. Other things that describe me can be properties. A property can be my size, my weight, my height, my hair color, anything that describes what I look like or a characteristic about me. And so this is the same thing in Actionscript. This is the way everything is built. You can see that we have different types of objects like movie clip objects and string objects and color objects and sound objects, and they all get methods and properties that are dependent upon the type of object that you have. And here's an example of how you might see it in code. You have object dot some property or an object dot on submethod. And you can see I put the on here because that makes it look like a little bit more like it's an action, it's doing something. Now, in order to use these objects, we do want to use some programming skills to help us identify which objects are which, and we'll discuss that later as we go through the tutorials. But it's important to note that a lot of languages are based upon the same sort of standards of coding and syntax as this. A lot of OOPs-based languages and even ECMA languages are JavaScript and ActionScript, Ruby, Python. Even Java is an object-oriented, and Objective-C for iOS. Lots of them have the same principles. So when you're learning one object-oriented language, you're really, in theory, learning all of the different object-oriented languages. So it's a great thing to learn. Now, in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at how you put code into Flash and where you can access help in Flash when you do need it. So go on to the next tutorial.